development, research, and innovative to produce globally competent professional minds with human values and ethics to serve mankind by taking part in industrial engineering and innovating. Ekalave Group of Technologies offer 8 weeks to 6 months industrial training or internships for BTech and Polytechnic students. Our experienced trainers impart practical knowledge, share their experience, and prepare students for the technical work. All these activities are done in the training session. Students also get to work in live projects. Coming to our training, this training will give you a deep understanding of design, development, and architecture of wide and wireless products based on embedded systems and Internet of Things that shapes the world. This program aims to provide students with the understanding of present both general principles and practical tips for building circuits, programming the microcontroller, wide and wireless communication protocols, sensors, and actuated networks. It's my pleasure to invite Mr. S. Lucas, our resource person for today's online live industrial training. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our resource person, Mr. S. Lucas, has worked as a junior research fellowship and academic for various institutions, and his area of research is biomedical signal processing and embedded system programming, and he is also currently working as a chief technical officer at Ekalave Group of Technologies. Thank you, sir. This session will be continued by our resource person, Mr. S. Lucas. Sir, please occupy the session, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Is it audible?
Yeah, audible, sir.
So, can I start my session?
Yeah, you can start, sir.
Yes.
Please participation, please respond.
Yes. So, good evening, all of you. So, welcome to the 3-week online live industrial training on embedded system developments and the applications using IoT. So, first of all, I'd like to thank every participant who showed interest to join this wonderful session, because this pandemic is given good opportunities for the students to learn new things. So, Ekalavya Group of Technology is trying to utilize this opportunity and give full-fledged of knowledge to the participants who are participated here. So, briefly, what I will do is, so first we will go with the theory. So later we will come to the live session, and at the end we will try to the objective of this program is, so we need to improve you such that we can able to write down the programs on your own, starting with the scratch. You can able to write down your own embedded system programs. So that's the objective of this program. So coming to today's session. So in the today's session, we are going to discuss about something like as a what is the embedded system. So how we can able to what is the embedded system, and what is the history and use cases of embedded systems. So these things will be discussed today. So as of now, we will discuss that things. So first thing, so hello. So I think everybody is audible. So my voice is audible to everybody, right?
Yeah. Yes, everyone to audible, sir.
Okay. So please. So second, please. first. So we will come what is meant by system. So first thing, so as of now we can have two things here. One is the definition of the system, and second one is the dictionary meaning of the system. So first of all, I will go with the what is meant by system definition. So this is the loose definition. A system is the way of working, organizing, or doing one or many tasks according to a fixed plan, program, or set of rules. So there is nothing but I'm having some plans or rules. So I will done that one. So as a set of rules, I will create a set of rules, and depending upon with that rules, the system is going to be worked or organized. Okay. So whereas if I go for the dictionary meaning, is a set of things working together as a part of the mechanism or interconnecting network as a complex and whole. So the both of the things are going to be having the same thing. So here the main important thing is if I take any system, the system is going to be having some set of rules, and it is going to be having a fixed plan. So according to that one, it will work. So for example, let us take a system example. Let us take a analog watch. So this is as I am sharing my screen, so you can able to watch that one. I think you can able to see that one. So here we are having a watch, analog watch. So there, so a watch is there. So this is our whole system. So is that the use of this system is to display time. So what are the parts we are having? So they are there. We are going to be hardware, needles, battery, dial, chassis, and strap. So these are the things we are going to be. What are the rules? So all needles move clockwise only. So no needles must move anti-clockwise. So a thin needle rotates every second. So thin needle must be that's going to be called as a second hand. A long needle rotates every minute. So this is going to be called as a long hand. And we are going to be having a minute hand. You can able to. A short needle rotates every hour. So this is the hour hand. So the like that we are going to be having a different things, and all needles must return original position after 12 hours. So these are the set of rules. So depending upon these rules, the system is going to be work. So they're going to be called as a system. So we can able to have another example. System washing machine is a system. So what are the rules we are going to be? We can able to see that it's the automatic cloth washing system. So there we can able to have a status display panels. So how what are the things it is going to be doing, and we are going to be having some switches, dials, motor, power supply, control unit, inner water level sensors, and solenoid valves. So like that we are going to be having the different parts in the washing machine. So what are the rules? So it need to be washed by spinning. So it must be rinse, it must be drying, and it's going to be washed over by blinking. Each step is displayed in the process stage. If any interruption is going to be occur, it need to execute the remaining. So like that. So these are the rules. So depending upon these rules, the system will work. So for example, so now I will go for the embedded. What is the meaning of the embedded? So embedded is nothing but, so this is the actually meaning of the dictionary meaning. So embedded is nothing but, so of an object, what is meant by object? Fixed firmly and deeply in a surrounding mass, implanted. It's going to be called as the implanted. So for example, you can able to see that gold ring with the 5 embedded stones. Like that is going to be implanted into a thing. So now we know the systems, we know the what is meant by embedded. If you combine these two things, you can able to have the embedded system. An embedded system is a combination of the computer hardware and software designed for a specific function or function within a larger system. So I'm having a large system. In that large system, I will put a embedded system such that it's going to be having a combination of the computer hardware and software, and it will be designed for a specific function only, a specific function. The system can be programmable or with a fixed functionality. We can able to program this embedded system, or it's going to be having a fixed functionality also. So in some embedded system, we are going to be having a fixed functionality, fixed function. Whereas in some other system, we can able to program this whole system. So I can elaborately define another thing. So the definition of the embedded system is going to be given as an embedded system is one that has a computer hardware with software. So embedded system is equal to computer hardware plus software. Embedded in it as one of its important components. So its software embedded in ROM, it does not need secondary memory as in computer. So this is another thing we need to know. So in the ROM itself, the program is going to be embedded. So in the later classes, we will discuss about what is meant by RAM, memory, all those things. So as of now, what you need to understand is embedded system is nothing but is a combination of hardware plus software, and it embedded into a larger system, and it will do a specific functionality. So these are the things we are going to we need to know about the embedded system. So these are the different examples for the embedded system. You can able to see starting with here industrial robot and GPS receivers, digital cameras, DVD players, wireless routers, MP3 players, setup box, gaming consoles, photocopiers, microwave oven. All these are going to be called as an embedded system. So why? So because if you take the digital camera, so there in the camera we are going to be having a computer, or you can able to say the processor, and in the processor we are going to be having a software which can capture the photos. So that's the functionality. It will be function only one thing. That is something but capturing the photos. It doesn't do another things. So modifying the photo, all those things it cannot do. So processing the photos is another thing. Okay, like that is going to be having only one functionality. So if I go for the GPS receiver, so global position system. So there we can able to find out the location on the Earth. So the purpose of this one is find out the location. That's it. So there we are going to be having a hardware and software. There, so we are going to be hardware is nothing but one processor is going to be having in the hardware, and software is nothing but the processor will going to be take the data, GPS data, and it is going to be showing us the exact location. So that's the processing we are going to have. Like that, in every system, for whatever the systems I have shown, embedded systems which I have shown here, is going to be having a specific functionality, and it's going to be having a hardware as well as the software, like that. So next thing, I will go for the another example. So this is the embedded system for cars. So they nowadays every car is going to be having a different functionality. They are going to be adding the features. So like that. So voice recognition system is the one of the feature which is going to be added. Or you can able to say as a night vision and lane warning system. Or you can able to say as a digital radio. Or it's going to be having a tire pressure monitoring system. So here in this larger system, car is nothing but a larger system. In that larger system, we are going to be embedded in each and every embedded system, like GPS. This is the embedded system module, one of the module, and audio system, tire pressure monitoring system. So all these things are going to be embedded into the larger system. So these embedded systems will do a specific functionality. For example, tire pressure monitoring system will always monitor the tire pressure only. It doesn't go for the GPS. It doesn't take any GPS data. Okay, like that, it's going to be having only one functionality. Like that, we are going to be having an embedded system for the car. So now is the question time. Please respond, please. So what is the difference between the general purpose computing system and embedded system? General purpose computing system is nothing but a PC, laptop, and embedded system. What you have understood up to now? So what is the difference between the general purpose computing system? Let us take as a TP. Yeah, please type your answers in the chat box. Yes.
Sir, some more participation not visible to your screen, sir.
Is so? I will try to.
Okay.
Will again
Once again, you close the window.
Yes, yes. Now?
Wait, sir.
So the PPTs, yes, sir. Now it's fine, sir. PPTs are visible, sir.
Yeah, now PPT is visible, ma. please respond.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ma.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ma.
See, so here you can able to say that what is the difference between the normal computer and embedded system. So you can able to see. So these are the different things you can able to say. So in the normal computer, let us take a laptop or PC. There we are going to be having a OS, operating system. So something like it is a Windows XP, Windows 10, something like this, Ubuntu, Linux. Like that, we are going to be having a different operating systems. Whereas in embedded system, we don't have any operating system. Okay, next you can able to say as a in normal computer or general purpose computing system, we are going to be having a RAM and ROM, so which can be expandable. For example, if I buy only 4 GB of RAM laptop, in future I can able to extend up to 8 or 16 GB of the RAM. Like that we can able to extend. Whereas in embedded system, we are going to be having a fixed RAM and ROM. Okay, like that we are going to be having a different things. I am showing the different differences between the normal general purpose computing system and embedded system. So this is how we can able to differentiate. So in the normal computer or PC, we are going to be having a different functionality. So like that, like so for example, we can able to take the photo and we can able to by using the photo modifier, we can able to modify the photo, enhance the features of the photo. So whereas in embedded system, so the embedded system is going to be having only particular functionality. That's it. For example, so if I am having a washing machine, it will do a function which is going to be called as a washing clothes. That's it. It doesn't do anything rather than the washing clothes. Whereas if I go for the laptop, it will do multitasking. It is going to be having a multiple works it can be done. Like that we are going to be having. These are the difference between the general computing system and embedded system. So next, so in a human system, so the important part is a heart. Okay, so one of the important part is a heart. If it stops for working for 1 second also, the people will die. Like that, in embedded system, the heart is a processor. Okay, so the processor here I am showing the Atmel processor. You can able to see this is the Atmel processor. Okay, so in total embedded systems, we need to know about the processors and microprocessors and microcontrollers. Okay, so a processor is the heart of the embedded system. Embedded processor is a microprocessor that is in uh, embedded system. Either it is going to be having a processor or either it can be having a microcontroller also. We will see that one. So what are the two essential things we are going to be having in the microprocessor and microcontrollers is one is the control unit, second one is the execution unit. So control unit and execution. What are the operations it is going to be having is fetching and execution. So we will see how to fetch a instruction and how to execute the instruction in the later section. Up to now, what you need to know is there we are going to be having a two essential units. One is called as a control unit and second one is called as a execution unit. Okay, so these are the things. Next, so these are the differences between the microprocessor and microcontroller. Now you need to clear that one. So in embedded system, we can be able to use a microprocessor or microcontroller. So that's why we need to know the difference between the microprocessor and microcontroller. I think you may know all these things. So just I will brush up all the things. CPU is a standalone and RAM, ROM, IO and timers are separated. IOs and timers are separated. Whereas in the microcontroller, we are going to be having a single chip. So I will go for the next slide. So you can able to
Sir,
see
sir,
here.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The PPTs which you're sliding is not visible to us. It's still showing the question time. What is the difference between general purpose computing system and embedded system?
So what I will do is now.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it
Now
okay?
it's visible, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Okay, so you can able to see this. So if you see the microprocessor and microcontroller differences, so it's better to go for this one, this slide. See, here we are going to be having a two. A is a general purpose microprocessor system, B is a microcontroller. So in the microprocessors, so the RAM, these are memories, RAM and ROM, IO ports, timers and serial ports, all are going to be having isolated, so separated. So whereas in the microcontroller, we are going to be having all the things are going to be having in the single chip like this. So next, we can able to see this. The designer can decide the amount of the RAM and RAM. Something like you can able to say this microprocessor is nothing but like your laptop. So he can able to decide how much RAM he need and how much ROM he require. So whereas in the microcontroller, so those things are going to be having a fixed one. Okay, how many IO ports, all those things are secure. So the important advantage of microcontroller is, so they are going to be having a low, so I mean to say as a low power consumption. Whereas in the microprocessor, we are going to be having a high power consumption. So even though it's going to be having a high power consumption, the microprocessor is going to be having a high processing power. Whereas the microcontroller is going to be having a low processing power. So because the microcontroller used for a particular embedded system only, so that is going to be do a particular functionality. Whereas the microprocessor is going to be in the general purpose computing, so there it need to do the lot of processing work, addition, multiplication, like that. It's going to be having a lot of processing work. So that's why. So the microprocessor is going to be having a typically 32 to 64 bits. They are going to be having a different bits. Whereas here microcontroller, we can able to go up to 16 bit to 32 bit. Nowadays, it's going to be available 32 bit also. Next, so microprocessor is going to be utilized for the general purpose, whereas it's going to be microcontroller is over the single purpose, or you can able to have the embedded system. Next, so microprocessor is the less reliable. So whereas the microcontroller must be very high reliable. So what we can able to say at this point is, let us say I am having a missile control system. So if I use the microprocessor in that missile control system, so this is going to be having a less reliable. So there is something, but even it's going to be having a very small signal also, it's not going to be responding. It will respond lately. Whereas if I go for the microcontroller, so if I give the signal within the less time, it's going to be responded and the missile will be fired like that. So that we can able to say as a highly reliable. So here the highly reliable is the microcontroller. Next example, you can able to see microprocessor is going to be having 8086 and 8088. So microcontroller is the 8051. Like that, we are going to be having a microprocessor and microcontrollers. So generally, in embedded system, we will use the microcontrollers. So because the microcontroller is a low power and is going to be utilizing the is going to be having a particular functionality and reliability. So because of that one, so we will use the embedded system in the generally we will defaultly we can able to say we can use the microcontrollers. So what are the components of the embedded system? So as we know in the definition, we need to have the hardware and software. Okay, like that. So hardware is nothing but, so we need to have a processor, or you can able to say the CPU, and timers, interrupt IO devices, memories, ports, interrupt controllers. All these are going to be having a hardware things. So all these are going to be required. So in the embedded system, whereas it's going to be having a application software. So this is going to be having a application software in which we can able to perform the series of the multiple tasks. So in the software, we are going to be having a in the software, we are going to be having a one more thing which is going to be called as a RTOS. It's going to be called as a real-time operating system. It's a one of the kind. So in the application software, we are going to be having a one of the kind which is going to be called as a RT. Okay, 1 second, please. Let me start. Yes. So these are the components of the different components of the hardware. So you can able to see as, so this is the embedded system hardware. So by using the embedded, these are the whatever I have told previously, whatever I have seen previously, like it need a processor, it need a timers, it need a ports, it need a input and output devices, and it's going to be having a power supply, and it's going to be having a system specification circuits like this. So like this, all these things are going to be called as the embedded system hardware, embedded system hardware like this. Okay. Next, I'm able to see it. So how we're going to be having a block diagram, a block description. What are the description we are going to be having for each and every block which we have seen previously. So you can able to see these are the sensors, control unit, actuator. So this is going to be called as a embedded system where the sensors is nothing but different sensor is going to be taken to the inputs. From the inputs is going to be given to the control unit. So this is the microcontroller, Atmel microcontroller, which I have seen here. So let us take LED is the sensor. So the LED sensor will going to be sense our temperature sensor. It will going to be give the temperature, and the control unit is nothing but microcontroller. Okay. So this actuator, this actuator is nothing but a switch. So let us take an example, AC. Okay, let us take an example AC. So there the sensor is nothing but a temperature sensor. So next the control unit is nothing but a microprocessor. Actuator is nothing but a switching on of AC. So like that, depending upon the temperature, it will on and off. Okay. Next, what are the features of an embedded system? So what are the characteristics or features of the embedded system? So it must be single function. So as a definition, it must be a single function only. Next, executing a single program repeatedly. So this is the important thing. Single function, in a single function, you need to execute a program repeatedly. Next, tightly constrained. What is the tightly constrained meaning is it must be low cost, low power, small, fast, etc. These are the things. So so as we are going to be developing the n number of embedded systems, the cost of the must be very low. The cost of the process control must be very low. It must take very less power, and the size of the microcontroller must be very small. So then the total embedded system thing will become very small. So like that. Next, it's going to be having a work must be 24/7, 365 diligence. You can able to say as a diligence. It must not be experienced the overloaded, all those things. So reactive and real time. Continuously react to the changes in the system and must compute the certain in real time without delay. Okay. So it continuously take the input. Yes. Is it audible? Hello.
Yeah, audible, sir.
Okay. So next. So what are the features of the embedded processor? So embedded processor, nowadays you can able to see here. So whatever the embedded processor, whatever the processor we are going to be producing nowadays, it's going to be having a microprocessor, whatever the microprocessor production, in that one, embedded processor is account for very high. So embeddeds are going to be having 100, whereas the desktops are going to be producing only one, like that. So the ratio is going to be having a like that. So these are the modern things we are going to be having in the house and in cars also. So you can able to see now, you can able to see in your house how many embedded systems do you can able to find out. So let us take, I'm having a washing machine. So this is the one thing. Let us take, we are going to be having a fridge. So this is another thing. Microwave oven. So treadmill. So like that, we are going to be having a different nowadays. Everywhere we can able to have the embedded systems everywhere. So next, up to now, what we have seen is we have seen about the hardware. Now we can able to see the software. So like, so what are the software or what are the programming languages we can able to use for the embedded system? So we can able to use the different programming languages like C, C++, ADA, Forth, and Java, and now J2ME also going to be utilized. So these are the things. These are the different languages. By using these languages, we can able to program the embedded system, and we can able to program to do a particular specific thing. So we will see these things, embedded C, how the embedded C are going to be utilized, all those things in the coming days. Next. So you can able to see. So only nowadays, so 45% of the software is going to be written in the C languages. Nowadays, it's going to be improving the C++ objective-oriented program also. So is going to be updated, going to be program also going to be uh, in embedded system also. So C is a very useful language for the programming of the embedded system. So if I come for the history of the embedded system, so the embedded system, so how this history is going to develop is, so in past 1960s, so MOSFET is developed, metal oxide semiconductor FET, MOSFET. So field effect transistor is a product in 1960, approximately 1960. Okay, so because of this MOSFET, the density of the transistor go on decreasing. Okay, so all the transistor is going to be laid down into the one single chip. So in 1970s, approximately 1970s, so they started to build a Intel company with a 4004 with a 4-bit microprocessor. So this is the first thing we are going to be having. Okay, so before that, so new first recognized modern computer system is the Apollo guidance computer developed by the MIT Instrumentation Laboratory for the lunar expedition. So for the lunar expeditions, they have developed this one. So this is going to be called as the Apollo guidance computer. So this is one of the embedded system which is developed by the MIT. Okay. So now, so after this, so now you can able to see this one. What is the first recognized modern embedded system? So please type your answer. What is the first recognized modern embedded system? Of course. So this is going to be having a Apollo guidance computer. So this the Apollo guidance is the first modern recognized embedded system. So next. So after this, we will start with the classification of the embedded system. So what are the different types of the embedded system? So depending upon the base performance and functionality, and depending upon the performance, so we can able to classify the two things. So based on the performance functionality, so we are going to be having a real time. So real time embedded systems, standalone and embedded system, networked embedded systems, mobile embedded system. For example, I can able to say as a mobile embedded system is nothing but so nowadays we can able to have the power bill is generated by with the embedded system. The people will come and they will scan that one and they will give the power bill. So that's going to be called as a mobile bill. Or if you travel in the APSRTC bus, they are going to be utilizing the embedded system. So that's going to be called as a mobile. So you can able to see the networked embedded system is nothing but, so if I am having a Aadhaar card scanner, so the Aadhaar card scanner is a network embedded system. So if you put your biometry, it will go to the Aadhaar server and it will recognize there. So that's going to be called as a network. Standalone, I can able to give you the standalone system is nothing but a washing machine. So that's a real-time system. Real-time embedded system is nothing but missile guidance system. So these are the missile guided systems. So these are the different types of the classification of the embedded system. We will see this one. Next, based on the performance of the microcontroller, we are having a small scale, medium scale, and sophisticated. So see here. So real-time embedded system. So we have seen about that one. Real-time embedded system is nothing but, so where we are going to be having is these are the things. So missile guidance system, missile tracking system. So in the real-time system, we are going to be having a two things. One is called as a hard real-time system and soft real-time system. For example, I'm having a hard real-time system is nothing but it must be very reliable. So if it is not a reliable, for example, a missile tracking system. So if it is not a accurate real time, so then it may hit the aircraft. Okay, so whereas aircraft is also called as a hard real-time system because it need to while landing it need to know the every surrounding environment condition. Okay, so if it is not known correctly, what happen is some catastrophe will happen. So that's why, so these are going to be called as a hard real-time systems, hard real-time embedded system. Whereas the soft real-time system, it does not need to know the environment because let us take a DVD player. It does not require to know the real-time environment. So it continuously play. Okay, so those are going to be called as this. Next, here he given the mobile embedded system. So like this, these are the mobile embedded system. So he given the like this, but there is a small difference I need to know, I need to tell you here. So our smart mobile system or smartphone is not an embedded system because the first reason is the embedded system doesn't have an operating system, but in our mobile phone operating system is there. And second one is the whatever the in the definition itself, what we are given is the RAM or ROM is a fixed one. But here in smart mobile phone, we are going to be having a fixed RAM or we can able to enhance that one also. Okay, so that's why it's going to be fitting between the embedded system and general purpose system. General purpose system, if I classify that one, so like two systems, general purpose computing system and embedded system, exactly middle is going to be fitting. So that's why the mobile system, mobile phone or smartphone is not an embedded system. Okay, next. So depending upon the performance, you can able to say as a small scale embedded system. Small scale embedded system is nothing but 8-bit or 16-bit microcontroller. So like PIC is a 16-bit microcontroller. You have seen is that. So there is going to be utilized for C. Actually, C language is going to be utilized to develop this one. So we required a very limited power dissipation. So for example, you can able to say as the digital watches. So here we can able to utilize the editor's kill software, something like as a kill. So we can able to use and we can able to do. Next, if I go for the medium scale, so here we are going to be having a 16 to 32 bit microcontroller or DSPs. So these are signal processors. So it's going to be having a risk computers. RISC is nothing but reduced instruction set computer. So we will see that instruction is nothing but a program is nothing but a group of instructions. Instruction is nothing but a command. Okay, so if I having a very less instructions, so those are going to be called as the reduced instruction set. We will see this one. So both the hardware and software complexity. So the hardware complexity with respect to the small scale is going to be increased now, and we can able to use the different programming tools like C, C++, Java, RTOS. Like this, we are going to be IDEs. So we can able to easily program this medium scale. So if I go for the sophisticated embedded system, so here we are going to be having a 32-bit microcontroller. So the hardware and software complexity is going to be increasing. So we can able to increase the processors also. So example, we can able to see nowadays they are going to be utilizing the washing machine. They are going to be utilizing the 32-bit microprocessor also. So what are the embedded system constraints? So the constraints, three important constraints is, so available system memory. So the system memory must be available. Processor speed. Next, limited power dissipation. So these are the important constraints of the embedded system. So it need to stop. So when running the system continuously in cycles of wait for events, run, stop, and wake up like that. So then only we can able to have the limited power dissipation. So power dissipation can be limited. So now, so this is the another one. So I am having a digital multimeter. So where I can able to measure continuously different things. So you can able to say what type of embedded system is it? Is it a data communication, monitoring, controlling, or all of this, or none of this? You can. I will give a one or 2 seconds pause here. A digital multimeter is an example of which type of embedded system? You can think it of. Okay. So if you think, so this digital multimeter is an example of an embedded system for monitoring. It's continuously monitors. So whatever things we are going to be having, we can able to monitor them. Next. So what are the applications of the embedded system? So up to now we have seen about embedded system, definition of the embedded system, classification of the embedded system, what are the constraints of the embedded system, all those things. So now, if I see the applications, there are the enormous applications for the embedded system because everywhere we can able to see the embedded systems. So nowadays we can able to see the everywhere. So for example, if I go for the consumer electronics, so something like the cameras. So consumer electronics, something like the cameras, washing machines, all those going to be the consumer electronics. There we are going to be utilizing the embedded system. Next, if I go for the household appliances, so you can able to say the television, DVD player, washing machine, fridge, microwave oven, all those are going to be called as the household appliances, where we are going to be utilizing the embedded system. Okay. Next, if I go for the home automation and security system, so one of the important things nowadays. Home automation, there we are going to be utilizing the air conditioner. So this air conditioner is going to having a embedded system. Sprinklers, intruder detection alarms. So somebody unknown person or intruder come. So then we need to detect and we need to give the alarm. Next, close the circuit television, CC cameras, fire alarms. All this going to be called as a home. All these are going to be called as the embedded system in home automation and security systems. Next, if you go for the automotive industries. So in the automotive industries, they are going to be having a enormous embedded systems. We already see so some anti-lock braking systems, engine control, ignition system, automatic navigation system, all these things are there. So nowadays, every car is going to be having a new feature. All those features are going to be introduced in the embedded systems only. So now we are going to be having a hybrid vehicles There we are going to be having a electronic part mostly. So in the electronic part, so we are going to be utilizing the embedded modules. Next, if I go for the telecommunications, so like we are going to be having a cellular telephone switches, handset, multimedia applications, everything there we are going to be utilizing the embedded system. Next, if I go for the computer peripherals, so in the printers also, printer is a one thing there we are going to be printer. So we don't process any, we don't do any calculations there. So that's why it's going to be called as a embedded system, printers, scanners, fax machines, etc. So all those things are going to be computer peripheral applications. So next, if I go for the computer networking system, so there we are going to be utilizing network routers, switches, hubs, firewalls. All those are the applications of the embedded system. Healthcare. So different kind of scanners like EEG, ECG machines. So all those are going to be comes under the applications of the embedded systems. So next, measurement and instrumentation system, digital multimeters, digital CROs, logic analyzers, PLC systems, all these things comes under the applications of the embedded system. If I go for the banking and retail systems, ATM, every time we will see, ATM is the one of the live example for the embedded system. So there, if you put the card, it will read the card and it will authenticate with the server and it will dispense the cash. So all these things will done. So all these things we are going to be for every functionality we are going to be having one embedded module. All these things is the bigger system. So ATM is the bigger system. In that one we are going to be having a small embedded systems like reading card. So this is one of the embedded system and authenticating and dispensing. So all these things are going to be. Next, card readers like barcode, smart card readers, handheld devices, all those going to be called as a card readers. Next, we are going to be having a variable devices. So nowadays we are going to be having a fitness trackers, like we are going to be having a fitness band. So there is going to be having a accelerometers. So these accelerometers will record how the movement, so the movement of the human, and so these are going to be connected to the smartphone and we can able to see some smartphone notifications also. So those going to be called as the variable devices. Next, nowadays the cloud computing and the internet of things, the IoT is going to be utilizing enormously the embedded systems. It's depending upon the embedded system. The embedded system which is connected to the internet is going to be called as a IoT. So like that, we are going to be having applications. So I will show this one. So these are the different applications which we are going to be having. So in the households and all those things. So some I have given some pictures so that you can able to see that one. So so these are the different things we are going to be having up to now. So what we have seen up to now is we have seen about the definition of the embedded system and what are the different classifications of the embedded system and what are the hardware and what are the softwares we are going to be utilizing and what are the constraints we are going to be having and what are the applications of the embedded systems. So these are the things which we have seen today. So in the next class, we will see about IoT, Internet of Things, how it's going to be happening and what are the things we can able to do with the IoT. Okay. So anybody having any doubt, please.
Raise your hands. Otherwise, please share the. Dear participants, do you have any queries? Please ask me. Okay. All of you sufficient this time. 6 to 7:30. 6 to 7. All of you time okay. This time okay. Otherwise, we have to change any times.
No, sir.
Please respond.
It's fine, sir.
Hello. My voice
This
is
is okay, sir. This is okay. This is okay.
this time okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, we're planning to change the time 4 to 5, afternoon 4 to 5. Because of some members are in the other works, like in company works like that. That's why we are planning to change the 4 to 5. Is there any problem?
Yes, sir. We are final years and we are going to college, and our timing is for until 4:30, so we can't attend
Wow.
that timing.
Okay, okay, ma. Yeah, Lokesh sir.
Yeah.
So
Hello.
otherwise, is there any time, sir? I think here all of the join the third year and final year students only. I think.
This time is okay, or else 5 to 6 also no problem.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, then we will do 5 to 6.
Okay, sir. Yeah, ma. Every day we have the 5 to 6 program. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, is there any queries? Is there any modifications? Or is there any feedback today's session? Today's session, is there any feedback, ma? Please respond.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, now close this session. Okay. Tomorrow,
Okay.
exact time we'll start the session. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Okay, sir.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Bye.
Hello, sir. Hello,
Yeah, tell me more.
sir. Tomorrow and which time the program going to be held, sir?
5 to 6 ma. 5 to 6 ma. Daily 5 to 6 ma.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.